Okay. So they discovered some remains of some UFOs and stuff, and people said they were legitimate. There was legitimate a crash that happened in Roswell, but the government came, cleaned it up, and told people it was just an experiment they were performing.
What is this you're talking about?
I'm talking about like aliens, like the whole reveal of people being exposing the fact that aliens are here, or that the government has been recovering like biological stuff here and there, and recovering like metals and spaceships that are known to be extraterrestrial. It's been happening for years. So my whole thing is, I know the government is not. They're not dumb, bro. So if they're telling us this at this point, what is next? That's what I care about. It's not about them exposing it. Everybody somehow knew. There's no way in this whole solar system that we're just the only biological life that exists. That's
selfish as fuck.
That's selfish as fuck to even say. Facts. That's crazy that the government now is telling us, and that's when we should believe that something like that really exists. It shows how much control that we've given away to them, that we have to wait for them to confirm what we already know for us to actually ride with it. So if people don't like use this as an expose to come to their senses that the amount of control we've actually given to the power, the authority, or whoever is in charge of this whole system we call government, it's crazy that we have to wait for them to confirm what we already know to be true. Why did we have to wait for the government to say it's true before we even write for it? When we already knew it was true.
Shit like that.
We know it's true. And one thing I always say is, there's no way different civilization across the world who had no contact with each other, there's no evidence that they actually knew each other, contacted each other, but they're all saying the same thing. They all drew the same, almost similar things on the caves. There's no way that something like that doesn't exist if people weren't talking about it and they didn't even know each other. The Incas probably didn't know a lot of stuff that was happening in Egypt, but they were all saying the same thing.
This is your favorite topic to talk about.
It is.
You get very intimate when it comes to this kind of shit.
So my whole point is, Indiana Jones, there's a lot of truth in there. A bunch of movies that they've been dropping ever since, Men in Black, they've been showing us this stuff all this while. But one of the things I realize is, when it comes to programming, if it's in the movies, when people see it in real life, the only thing they will say is, "Oh damn, that shit doesn't exist. It only exists in the movie."
Yeah.
So if people are waiting for the government to tell them that aliens exist, and that's how they got to believe, then Jesus Christ, you still got something going on that you didn't know before. So that's no surprising thing. But my whole thing I really want to focus in is what next. If your guys are telling us that they exist now, okay, cool. What next? Is it just gonna be one of those things that they just say and eventually dies out, and everybody now know that, oh yeah, they're there, but we're not really chasing it. We don't care, but we should care about stuff like that. It's very important.
I think it changes the scale of life.
Yes.
It's kind of wild if you really think about it. Juice, real quick. Since it's just me and him on, should I turn down this orange mic all the way to 0 so it doesn't pick up any audio? Okay. The orange one's the orange, right? Just make sure, if you're on some goofy shit. All right, so, it completely expands the whole everything of life. Like war now, everything that has to do with what happens on our planet becomes irrelevant.
Yes.
Like unless it becomes like a coexisting thing, like war on our own planet becomes absolutely fucking stupid.
It's stupid. Yep.
Stupid, because that means that there is way superior warriors and forces out there, and we're just gonna kill ourselves before they ever get a fucking chance to, because who knows what their type of time they're on.
And
it goes galactical. Everything becomes galactical. Like we're not competing against ourselves anymore. We're competing against a whole fucking that's wild, dude. And that's what life is. Life is fucking competition. The competition of everything.
It is. Because there's even a theory that, take a look at, for instance, you see the conservation when we have animals, right? Running around, the antelopes, the little honey badger, the tiger. They just do their thing, right? But we're watching over them, right? What if there was another being out there? This is a theory that someone said. I heard it on a podcast as well.
Watching over us.
at least 3% smarter than us. 3%. That's probably all you need. 3% smart. About 5%. Let's take it to the max. About 5% smarter than us, and they're just watching us do whatever we do, kill each other, just like we're watching the antelopes and the tiger actually maul on each other and call it nature. What if they're just watching us do it, study us, and fix whatever they have to fix and just go their way? Wouldn't that be a crazy thing that we think we have some form of control over a lot of stuff, but we're just being observed?
Dude, you know what gave me that same idea mindset is you gotta watch this show called The 100, bro. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I started it. I never really got deep into it. I think I did like 6 episodes.
Seen that? You ever seen The 100? Bro, it's a super sci-fi show.
It's crazy.
But it's wild. Like the whole path of the show, kind of like what you're saying is kind of exactly what it is. Like these people, these extraterrestrial beings of like higher power, they're like watching over us for centuries and centuries and centuries. And it basically just goes to show how it's like as a human race, we always just fucking kill ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we get to the point where we just take it so far that everything gets washed out. We wipe ourselves out. And then they're just like, this is why they fucking can't. They're just watching over them just do this shit over and over again. Like it's kind of wild to think about because that's really what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
nothing's ever enough.
It's not even just us. I think it replicates across nature. Even apes have been known to actually attack other bands of apes. And they would actually have war. Monkeys would have war.
I mean, but that's the thing is like the reason they're smarter is because they've been able to break through that.
Yeah,
that's what makes them that higher being, that higher power. They've understood how to actually
like the importance of life, nature,
how to organize and construct that kind of society and way of life.
Like for instance, you look back to the ancient technology that they had. Most of them were like the regular elements you will find, like stones, bricks. How they constructed the whole like Egyptian pyramids. It was built off blocking, but it turns out it's probably a machine because they've never been a confirmed mummy or like a Egyptian pharaoh that was found. The whole myth behind that the pyramid is a tomb was a myth that was started by some archaeologists, and it was never confirmed to be true. They've never found.
I thought they just proved it to not be true recently, didn't they?
Yeah, they've never legit found any pharaoh in any of the pyramids. So apparently, the pyramids might turn out to be actual machines used to collect energy.
Sun.
So I heard it was covered. It was like actually smooth. I think covered in the top was gold.
Copper.
Yeah, copper, gold. So it would actually conduct electricity and transfer it around. Probably they had this whole thing where they transferred electricity around the world, and that's why we have pyramids everywhere. Because when you actually, there's a lot of them. It's not just one big one here, one small. There's a lot.
You ever looked at the locations of them too? How their locations sync?
Yes.
It's kind of wild.
Yes, and it's like these people were doing mathematics far beyond what we can comprehend. How did they move? It's still a question that's baffled people till now. Scientists can't even figure it out. How did they move tons of bricks from thousands of miles?
This is why you have. This is why I mean you get along so well. You have the same imagination. I think about this shit all day.
You got. We don't even the present crane we have to actually lift probably the heaviest thing cannot do the job of lifting those stones in the pyramid.
People don't even understand, like, even if you use machinery, like, because if you used modern, if we had the best equipment that we have available today and tried that same task, like, people don't understand, like, the material that's being used, how it's being used, okay, the calculations behind it, and how many it is.
Yes.
And like how many blocks it takes to build that high.
And they're cut.
Like we're talking about millions, like millions. They it's crazy.
Yeah, so crazy. It's just something that you have to now place yourself in that whole frame of mind that there's a lot of things we don't know. A lot. Because like science, for instance, the problem with modern science is it's been built on brick and mortar, and they say this is it. But science, when it started, it was supposed to be a never-ending library where we keep changing stuff. We keep correcting stuff as we evolve. Because we've evolved, whether you like it or not, from something to this. So science is not supposed to be rigid. So when a lot of stuff come out on the news, and for instance, like the whole vaccine stuff, I'm not against it or for it, but I think it should be debatable. So this whole thing about it's a me versus you thing, it has become a repeating and reoccurring theme with us, and I think that's why we're never gonna go anywhere till we get rid of that. Do you know the amount of nuclear weapons that we have shelved, ready to go? For who? Who's gonna die? It's
We could
us.
blow the whole world up right now,
Yes.
easily.
That is ridiculous that we have stuff that would actually cause the whole earth to just like get wiped out. Because if Hiroshima and Nagasaki at that time, they had that, what do they have now?
Yeah, it's like, go back to what I said about, like, basically we destroy ourselves because of dumb conflict that doesn't
Ego.
ego, conflict, shit that doesn't actually fucking matter. Everybody wants to make matter. That's really what it comes down to me. But before we fucking start getting carried away on your favorite topic, well, I promise I'll give you a whole episode where you could just go in on just this right here.
Okay.
So we'll be on. We're on episode
7.
Episode number 7.
Yeah.
Coming off a fucking long hiatus.
Long
Hiatus. I feel like it's been a long 2-3 months we've been busy. We both fought in June. Rolled in. I haven't seen Juice in a while either, I feel like, but he's been staying busy in the studio, so that's awesome. This episode is gonna be brought to you by Miles Moffett Construction and Lime Work. So we're gonna roll right in. We got a few awesome things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the smokers that went down just the other day, and we're going to talk about what a smoker is for those obviously watching that don't know. We're going to talk about our Stellar Fights experiences, what happened in the cage with us, our last fights. Nosa made his 170 pound, it was 170, right? Yeah. Kickboxing debut. And I fought for my 3rd MMA championship. Defended my 170 title. So we're going to go into detail about that. We had other 2 teammates that fought that night as well. Was it 1 or 2?
It was 2. It was me, you,
Jacob. That was
Jacob. Yep, that was it.
Okay, so 3. And then we're also going to talk about a little bit about our merch that we're going to be dropping here soon. So that's going to be cool.
Yep.
Let's start with our fights, and then we'll talk about the smoker.
Okay.
So I want to ask you. It's been fucking forever. I've been planning this episode.
Okay.
So your first Stellar fight, you fought what, 4 times before that?
5.
5. Okay, so that was your 6th fight.
Yeah.
But that was your first time in front of an actual legitimate crowd.
Yeah.
Like with a real walkout, all that kind of shit. You fought 2 smokers, and we did 3 at WKs for the kickboxing tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now your record is what, 6-1?
Yeah, 6-1.
6-1. Okay. Well, actually, smokers don't count.
Don't count.
So you're 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah. So you're 4-1. Okay, that's what's up. All right. So what was it like the first time you got hit in the face in front of a large crowd? What was that like?
It's the thing. I think with Stellar, the first thing that that actually got me to wake up was the fact that the lights were on me, and it was a lot of crowd. It was not what I actually have experienced before. Like hearing a lot of people actually cheer for you. It's a different feeling. It's an energy from it, and I think I had to get used to it while trying to frame my mind that this is a fight. As much as I like what's going on right now, this is also a fight. So when he hit me the first time, it kind of woke me up. It was like coffee in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
That same thing happens to me too every time I get hit. Once I get hit the first time.
But yeah, it was the thing. I had such a great camp that like we punched the shit out of each other during this camp. It was really great for me. So when he hit me, I'm like, oh well, Taylor hits me harder than this. So it was just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's the cool part about having solid training partners when you're coming up.
Yeah.
You're going against newer guys. That guy was game though. He was athletic. He was tough.
Yeah.
You definitely had some way better cardio than him though.
Yeah,
I think
he had
that's
great
what,
defense though.
What's your definition of great? I wouldn't say it was great. I would just say that he was covering up
And
weird and running. So it was like weird to like kind of tee off and let your combos go because he was like legitimately running from you at some points. He was turning his back. So yeah, never fucking turn your back in a fight. But hats off to him. He was a young. How old was he? Like 19 or 20?
He was 19.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good first fight for you. I wanted you to get that finish. The uppercut was there.
Yeah, it was.
Next time we're gonna get it though.
Okay.
It's
always something to work on.
Next time you're gonna be in probably 4 ounce. Nah, we're gonna do kickboxing.
I want to do a
first.
kick. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you put the 4 ounces on, you're gonna feel what it feels like to really when you fucking come across somebody's jawline with a 4-ounce glove, it's totally different. Like those first few crosses you landed, like dudes are hitting the ground. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild, dude. It's different. So, damn, I wish I got to be in your corner. That was the worst part for me, was staying in a way and not being able to be in there for your first experience for that.
Yeah, because you had to fight that night also.
Yeah,
so
I hated that.
I know.
Dude.
Yeah.
I wanted to just like, I don't know. It just felt weird, like fucking.
No, I think because we did the camp together, and I mean,
and I've been there for every one of your fights.
Yes,
all your fights, I've been your corner.
You're the one I mostly actually have time with training and sparring. So I think you kind of know me better than most people. And moreover, I worked with you the whole camp. It was just me and you. Yeah. So I think that would have been perfect because the uppercut, I heard you from the crowd. That's what people don't understand. The uppercut was when I was hearing Taylor's voice. Because it's weird. It's a weird feeling that you got to explain. I was hearing Taylor's voice, so I had to. While you're fighting, you have to actually fine tune voices.
Yeah, you map them out. Map out.
That's why I like fighting. It's just the beauty of what the brain is able to do at a given point in time. So I'm trying to punch my opponent, working on tactics, defending, trying to attack, watch him, read him, and still trying to lock in on voices. So finally, when I heard Taylor's voice, I was hearing uppercut.
You brought him over to the cage right in front of me. You like bodied him up against the cage, and you were like,
exactly. And then I pinned him, and I was trying to listen. And I heard uppercut. Up. And so that's when I threw it the first time. He landed, but I didn't really. There was no technique to it because I was winging it because he kept on blocking and he was just shooting and running. So I was trying to just hit him however I can to get him to open up. So. Actually, that was where, after I hit him with the uppercut, I saw him stun, and that was where it started from the dad, and I threw a couple of punches, and the 8 count started. And I think it was amateur. That's why they gave him that 8 count. They should have let him drop because in a pro fight you have to let him drop first, but I think it was amateur, so they just had to stop the whole thing.
I hated that shit. I wanted to just keep. They step in, stop it. Yeah.
And then something else was I worked on framing. Because I boxed a lot during this camp, and I worked on framing, and for some reason the ref just came up to me and said, "No more framing." That was kind of whack to me, because I mean it's a kickboxing match, and even in boxing you should be able to frame your opponent. That wasn't illegal in any way or form. So
yeah, I wish you could fucking pull up the rule book right now. That pissed me off because you were there, right? Mm-hmm. So you know how he was framing on the kid, like with his lead hand.
They kept on running, so I was trying to kip him.
That's
somewhere.
What we teach. That's what I teach a lot. That's what I do a lot. You watch my fight back. That's all I fucking did, like half the fight. Vince is a heavy guy on the frame. That is not illegal to put your frame on somebody in kickboxing. Like I don't know why the referee said that shit, but it completely changed how we work our shots coming off the uppercuts and the right hooks. And I I was wondering why you weren't fucking doing it.
Yeah.
The referee, I wish I was in the corner because of that. When he contested that, the referee said, that's a legal shot or illegal. You can't push off. And I was like, he's not pushing off. He's just holding it, keeping his distance. Like a lot of people like to do that.
And even in kickboxing, I don't care how high
in boxing, that's legal.
Exactly.
So kickboxing
if I'm trying
is
to cut an
definitely
angle,
illegal.
for instance, I could frame and cut an angle. It's not illegal. I could actually frame and cut as long as I'm not shoving him.
And that's something he relies on. Like it's an actual tool of his. So like the fact that the referee's like, you can't do that, and like Brandon and them couldn't contest it because they didn't know any better. Like I would have 100% been like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
And I think Brandon didn't even hear it.
Yeah, he didn't. He was probably locked in on you. Yeah,
he didn't hear it. Yeah. So because I think that was almost the same time Brandon was yelling for the ice. That was when I was telling me to. You listen to the time the referee came up to me and he said something. If you go watch the video, and Brandon I think that was almost the same time where Brandon was yelling for the ice. So I think that's why he didn't hear it. So yeah, that was how the fight went, but I won. I mean, I won all 3 rounds, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I won all 3 rounds.
Especially 2 and 3. Yeah, beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, so hey, that was great. I mean, it was a great experience. After the whole fight, adrenaline is one hell of a drug. You should try it. So
I agree.
I felt good.
I fucking felt in my fight. I get distracted by the voices sometimes. Yeah. Because I almost like they're entertaining to me. Like there was a point when I first got tagged, when I first came in, the bell rang, I came in. he took an angle and I hit him and he came in and overextended on a 1-2. And I stepped in and threw my cross and my hook, and then he brought up an overhand right behind it. I didn't see it coming. It clipped me right on my temple, and it kind of flashed me and sent me back to the cage for a second, right? And I bounced off the cage, but then I was right back in. Like once I hit the cage, I was good. I grabbed a hold of him, spun him around. And I remember having him into the cage, and then some dude in the crowd, like right below, is like, "He's hurt. He's already hurt. He's already hurt." And I want to just look up and be like, "Fuck you!" Like I'm fine. Like, but like I can't do that dumbass shit. But like I listen to all the voices around. Like I'll hear idiots like calling out commands that they think that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm like, I want to just be like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, what are you saying? Like, Taylor, fight the hands, like do this. I'm like, what are you don't even know what you're talking about, bro. You never even been in this cage before. But yeah, that's what I map out voices. That's like kind of one of my things. It's like I think it kind of distracts me a little bit, but I also think it's good because I do listen. You have to listen to your coach. I do listen very well. I hear my coaches very well. Yeah, so
it's a tool you need. You have to listen to your coach because you're not.
I told you since the beginning. What I tell you, what's the most important thing?
It's to listen to your
corner. Listen.
And something people don't understand about fighting. When you get in there, it's not. People say technique. Technique is just what you train your body to do over and over. It's all instinct. There's no fighter that maps out how a fight is actually going to go. There are things they want to do during the fight, but every fight is very different.
This is what I preach to everybody.
So it's all instinct. Once you train your body to the point where instinctually it knows when this person is trying to move this way, this is what I should do. When this person is trying to do this is what I should do. When this person is trying to piece this together, this is what I should do. Your brain, your mind, your body all sync to that, and it becomes an instinct when you're in there. But nobody actually knows how a fight is going to go. Most people act like, oh, yeah, the fighter is so intelligent, but most of the time it's just the instinct and the way the person trains.
That is exactly why people always compliment, like other coaches always compliment me and you for how composed and relaxed we always seem. Like even when we're fighting, like it doesn't even look like we're about to fight. Like, because I think that me and you have that same kind of, all I trust is my instinct. I don't care if I got no sleep, how I'm feeling, if I'm tired, if I feel like I'm going to throw up, if I'm sick, or however the fuck I feel. I trust 100% that once my adrenaline kicks, that my instinct has been hyper trained and it's gonna respond. Like I don't have to ever worry about that. Like I know that when the time comes and I have to do it, like no matter how I feel, like adrenaline is an amazing thing. We've seen people do amazing things off adrenaline. So there's no reason why once that shit spikes that I'm not gonna be able to fucking do anything. And the shit that you've trained in yourself isn't going to come out. All of it comes out. No matter how that's why I tell people, I'm like, bro, just stop, get out of your head, stop thinking about this, thinking about all that other bullshit, and just understand that you're instinctually ready for this. Like that's what's about to happen. Like it doesn't matter. And that's where people lose is the mental side of it. They just defeat themselves mentally beforehand or they just don't think clearly when they're in there because they're so worried about like certain things. And I just feel like that's just just trust the instinct and flow, man. Just have fun. Just go in there and do it. Your body's been how you trained it to do it.
It's just another sport. Understand that it's a sport. And people get so wild up about the whole, like it's fighting. So it's one of the highest of the most egotistical way you could actually win because you're beating the shit out of someone. So, but people forget it's also a sport. It's a sports side to it. It's have fun. It's like watching people run, watching them swim. So sometimes try to get in that mood where you just be like, yeah, it's a sport. Mm-hmm. So that actually helps. And something else that I do is I really don't think about it. I don't think about my fights. I don't even care. I look at my opponent and I'm like, okay, that's the guy I'm fighting. Okay, but I don't put a lot of thought into it. And I try to actually be kind in that moment when I meet my opponent. I'm, hey, how you doing? What's up? Like, actually have a, because I like I understand the whole sportsmanship, showmanship, and let's have fun and be wild and be cocky, but it's also a sport. And just like every other sport, as long as someone gets in there and do it, you earn my respect.
Agreed.
That's it. That's just, I mean, you could quit in the first round, whatever, but as long as, because you know how many people take fights and never show up.
The courage it takes to do it. It's kind of wild.
It is.
There's people out west that's a thing out west. I went out west for Moses' kickboxing fight one time. I coached him out there in California, and I was talking to one of the referees before he fought, and he was like, man, I was like, the first four, bro, remember, so you went to, well, you were at WKs, you were at IKF, but like, this is IKF West Coast, not East Coast, not same thing that they have in Myrtle Beach, but it's out in Cali.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm like the first Moses was like seventh fight of the day. We got there like 11. He was supposed to fight like fucking 1 o'clock or some shit. And the guy goes, there's like out of nowhere, he calls the name before Moses, and I hadn't even got Moses warmed up yet. Like I had him wrapped up and taped up, thank God. And I'm like, what? Like what the fuck? I go up to the booth and he's like, yeah, the first 4 fights nobody showed up.
What?
Yeah, I was like, what? And he was like, I was like, that's not a thing where I'm from. He's like, yeah. He's like, yo, it happens out here all the time. Like, he said, I've cornered or refereed cage fights, MMA, like real, like Stellar. Imagine Stellar out there, right? Yeah. And like the first fight, nobody, like the first or second fight, or one of the 2 of the fights in the night, like the one guy won't even walk out. Like, he just won't show up, and nobody knows. It's like wild. I'm like, wow. What the fuck? How does that even happen? Like, first of all, how are you that unorganized? And 2, like, that's kind of wild. Like the fighters are.
That's whack.
That's soft as fuck. Yeah, it's whack. It's fucked up to a lot of people too that train hard for it. So
yeah, that's not cool. And picking off that fact that you said you trust your instinct and you just trust what your body do. You remember the one time where I had a jiu-jitsu tournament in Ocean City. The night
you fucking
when we partied,
walked the dog with everybody.
All right,
yeah, he fucking whooped everybody's ass that you went against. Like you were like a bully on the mat, dude.
But dude, remember we got home at like 4 a.m. right? 4 a.m. Slept for like 2 hours.
Oh yeah. Where were we at before that?
I can't even. I think we actually drank a lot.
We were high as fuck too. We showed up baked. Yeah, we showed up baked. I
don't know what kind of weed we smoked. I think it was a combination of not sleeping,
no hydration,
nothing. We smoked, and dude, I was baked. I was sleeping. I was sleeping before my very first.
Bro, what the fuck did we do the night before?
No, I think we partied. I think
where?
It was me, you, Anthony. We partied at I think it was like Guido's or so.
No, not that.
Oh, in
day.
Ocean City. It was either or, but I think we partied that night.
Was it? What day was that? The OC Classic. That's in October, ain't it?
OC Classic. Yeah, it was.
It was like colder fall time.
Yeah.
It was somebody's birthday, I feel like. But I don't know. Either way, that shit was wild. Yeah, it was like 2 hours of sleep. We just got high.
So I was on the bench, right?
We left the smokers. That's what it was.
Oh.
We left the smokers. We came back. Yeah, we left the smokers. It was the smokers.
We went to Baltimore.
Yeah.
We left the smokers. Yeah, and yeah. So, that was why Eric came up to me and said he was punching and kicking. You think he gives a fuck about this shit? That's what he was telling Brandon. When Brandon was like, I'm very calm. So I was sleeping, dude. Like I was so fried. I started sleeping. So they woke me up and were like, yo, they're calling your name. You're supposed to be on the mat. And I'm like, shit. And I woke up and that's how I went to my first match. But after the match, I kind of woke up though.
Ragdolled him.
Yeah.
Taylor just like grabbed him and threw him down. Like fucking just grabbed him. Just grabbed him and threw him down. And then just fucking grabbed his arm and just like what a fucking smirk on his face, just snapped his arm. And I was like,
So after the first match, I kind of woke up and I'm like, shit, okay, I'm in this. But dude, I was hungover. Because I was drinking the night before, I hadn't slept, and I'm like, Taylor was like, "You feel like shit?" Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, I feel like shit." And it was like, "Well, you got 2 more matches." I'm like, "Okay," but yes, the thing, the point I'm trying to make is every time the match started and they were like, "Go," my body just knew what to do. It wasn't about being hungover. All that shit was just out the window. I'm like, "Yeah, it's go time," and those are the things that I think most fighters look forward to, and that's why they keep on fighting, because it's just a certain feeling. Like every fight elevates my mind. Mm-hmm. That's how I'll put it. Every time, I don't care if it's grappling, if it's not sparring where I feel very safe. This is someone trying to come at you. He's trying to break your limbs, or the other guy's trying to knock you out. He's legitimately coming for your neck. So I think when you get out of a situation like that, I think a lot of things become easier. You're more controlled. Like when I work security, there's a lot of things that other my colleagues will like spark up about and get mad about, but I'm just like, dude, like it's not worth it. So I beg people to actually leave. I'm like, dude, please. There's no reason why we should have any conflict. The management wants you out. This is not a war you can win, and I don't really want to get into any tussle with you. Just understand. Come another day, not today. That's how I talk to people, and they legitimately just leave. And I break up their bands and they go. But sometimes I see some of my colleagues trying to shove, and I'm like, dude, sometimes we don't have to get to that point. except it's really a thing where the guy puts his hands on you or it's really in your face. So I think it makes me more controlled. I'm no longer scared of danger per se. I don't perceive danger from people. I actually let people do what they do, and I read and feed off them. So that's something that it has done for my mind also. So I think if you ever think about combat sport and you only see the violent part, you should also understand that there's a lot of knowing yourself while doing that. That's also part of it.
There was the beginning part of what you just said.
What?
I was gonna tie into going to the smokers, but with Pierre is when Pierre said to me that he was like, bro, it was so wild. I got in there, and like as soon as we like it became that like that initiation of like, okay, this is a fight. Like we both are about, like the bell rings, you get in and touch gloves. It's like, right? He was like, I felt like I was in the VR headset. He said, I was like, you ever played VR boxing?
Yeah, I did.
He said it was just out of nowhere. It just became me and that dude in like our own world, and it was like everything else was gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's a wild ass, like people don't understand that until they do it. We even talk about it on every episode, but it's still
a different kind of high.
Yeah, it's just like you just, here's you and this dude, and there's just like muffled noise around you, and it's like a game of you guys almost feel like you're both in each other's minds.
And
like,
everything is fired up here. Every nerve you have is fired up at that
you're
moment.
Lasered
like,
in.
You're
lasered in, bro. Like it's wild. I don't know if you ever felt that before. What like doing what?
Getting in a fight.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So street fight. Yeah. So I forget, if you have a street fight, you could say that. But I feel like it's still even more soup because you don't have
it's
street
control.
fight.
In the street,
You don't have time to react.
It's more of a spur of the moment.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
It just happens. Let's fight, right?
But this,
This shit is like you're walking to this motherfucker thing, like, and it's just like this. It's like this. And then you're just like in there, and it's like.
And something else is, you think about it nights before that. Oh shit, I'm gonna get in a fight. You have a month to plan for it. Some motherfucker out there is gonna fuck you up, or you're gonna fuck him up, and you just have that in your mind every day when you wake up. Like, yeah, it's getting close to it. And that day you get there, you're like, yeah, I'm walking into this shit, and then they lock the gate, and you're like, shit, okay, it's go time. It's a wild feeling.
I love that sound. That shit makes me feel like the baddest motherfucker in the world. When I hear it just go clink, I'm like, I'm not walking out of here dead. Somebody is. That's how I'm feeling. Like in that moment, I'm like, shit. This is
when you
wild.
win, and just like every other thing, when you win after preparing for something, it feels good. It's a big reward for your brain, your mind, your confidence in life, and how you think on a lot of stuff, how you take on the tasks that life has set for you. So, hey, great. So how was your fight? Like, how did you feel? I mean, your fight was crazy. It was I think it was the craziest of the night. It deserved the fight of the night. The reason was because it was bloody. That's what we
banged out.
I know. The funny thing is, that's what we look out for. We love it. Most people don't appreciate it. Like your mom didn't appreciate it at all, but hey,
Brandon doesn't like it. Your coach.
But it's part of the game.
I like it like that. Like it's just sometimes it's fun to like everybody, because my fights come off clean. Like I have like these beautiful like first round finishes where I don't get hit one time, like, or you know what I mean, like so far. And then like the Keenan fight was a little different, but like these last 3 fights have been so like Eric, I got hit a couple times, but nothing hard or nothing like that. Like I never make it bloody on my end at least, and then. So like, but I've been waiting for that. I've told Brandon like for the last 2 years I want a 5-round fucking like let's see who can dig deeper and like who's bleeding the most by the end of the fight. Like I want one of those. Like
you got it.
Yeah, and it's like I have a hard ass head, so like I can take a lot more punishment than people probably think on the outside, and also a lot of people don't understand that like it looks a lot different sometimes than it feels or is conceived. Like you know that now. Like you watch a fight, there's certain times where it looks like somebody might have got hit really hard, but like
it's not really.
It really wasn't that hard, right? Or like stuff like that. And like there was a couple of shots that got me good, but there was never a moment in that fight where I was like fuck, like, oh fuck, like I'm about to get fucked up. Like it was just, I felt like I was just kind of in control of it.
And
I-
moreover, when your opponent is bleeding too, you kind of have a confidence that he's taking damage too.
Yeah,
Like, he's taking
oh,
you're like,
yeah.
he's taking a lot. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm bleeding, but I know this motherfucker is fucked up too. So
He was tough, man. He
Yeah,
was
he
a
is.
tough son of a bitch. I
He
hit him
is.
so hard, so many times. Hats off to him. Love that guy. I love Will Brown. Like he's
Will Brown,
goofy.
he's a solid motherfucker.
Goofy, solid ass, just wild dude. He just fights and fights, takes fights after fight, and he's down to party with anybody. He don't care who you are. He'll get in there and throw down.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Will Brown.
yeah.
Yeah, that motherfucker is a son of a gun. I love him. Yeah. So, how do you feel after your last Stella fight? What's next with Taylor McMahon?
I'm going to go Cagezilla. Got the
Okay.
155 strap against Byron. What the fuck's his last name? I forget his last name. But he's a 155 champ at Cagezilla, so I'm gonna go down there, take that, and then that'll be advanced like AMI rules, so it's more pro rules down there in Virginia, whereas no shin guards, elbows, knees, go to the face, like. So that's gonna be more fun and making that transition, and then hopefully after that fight, turning pro
Okay.
and seeing where everything goes after that.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Would you say you ended your Stellar in the fashion?
Oh
that you
yeah.
wanted
Oh,
to?
that's honestly, that's why I was so pissed that everybody was like kind of like bummed out about it. Like everybody was just like, man, he should not have been in there that long with you, like this and that or whatever. Like you got hit too much, and I was like, bro, I don't care. That's exactly how I would want my send-off fight to be. Who wants to see me get in there again for the fourth time, get in there and start somebody in 1 or 2 rounds? You know what I mean? Not get hit once.
Yeah.
That was something cool. Like, you got to see us both had to show heart. Both of us had to dig. And then, like, the fight, it feels like this adrenaline or this anxiety pool of, like, oh, it's going his way. Oh, it's going his way. I like that. Like, when you watch fights like that on TV, you're like, that was fucking the best fight of the night.
Like Justin Gage's fights.
And that's what I'm in the sport to be. I don't, to me, it's not about being an undefeated fucking GOAT pound for pound #1. Like, I believe in myself like that way, and I want to prove that, but that's not what I care about. Like, what I care about is just I want y'all to watch when you all go back, every fight card I'm on, I want everybody to be like, damn, that was the coolest fight of the night, was Taylor's that night. That's all I care about, because that's how you get paid. So
Straight up. It's also a business.
yeah. Let's talk about the smokers. So first off, yo, can I get one of them Zins? Yeah, bro. Yeah. So So the smokers, this is gonna be a whole fucking shout out to Hotbox Boxing and Fitness. That's the name of the gym. I'm sorry, I didn't want to fuck it up.
Yeah.
But they put on this new thing, Micah Terrell and Vince Mosca and a couple other obviously names that go behind the scenes that aren't as, I guess, pumped into it, but that help out. Put on this fucking sick ass thing that they've been doing for about 1.5 years now, 2 years. You fought twice on it. I fought once on it. And it's a smoker, but it's a cool show, man. And shout out to those guys. They've been running it and getting
consistent.
It's
with
very
it.
good for the local scene. I fucking am obsessed with them. Vince said himself, I love these more than even the fights, like the real fights. It's just something about it. It's
Very underground. You ever seen Fight Club? Yeah, it almost feels like our own little Fight Club. That's how it feels, but just more controlled.
It is like that.
Yeah.
It's fucking
We're
wild.
probably gonna have 2 motherfuckers who want to go bare knuckle, and we would have definitely allow it.
Yeah. It's a cool little fight club.
Hey.
All the local guys from all the gyms, Ground Control, Crazy 88, Hot Box, our gym, just like all over. I don't too many gyms to even shout out, but all these guys put up a ring inside the gym.
Yep.
Basically, we all put 16-ounce gloves on, whether it's boxing or kickboxing, and we just beat the shit out of each other in front of a crowd for fun. And
Nobody wins. That's the beauty
nobody
about
wins.
it.
It's just like,
It's for the sport.
Clearly,
it.
we know watching it who won that fight, but other than that,
Obviously.
and it's just all respect all around. It's a really cool atmosphere that they're created, and just hats off to those guys. But we had 2 guys fight on it. This recent one, I usually have somebody on it every time, just because I love to go. So I'll ask around the gym, everybody in the gym, like, hey, you want to do a smoker? Like, I'm trying to get everybody on that bitch, but it's a really fun time every single time. It's like a weird, like, just, it's super fucking hot. It's
Yeah,
like
hot.
105 degrees.
Yeah.
Every dude's got his shirt off.
Yelling.
Yeah, like you get gassed out in the first, second
A lot
round.
of drinking.
A lot of drinking, a lot of alcohol, a lot of rowdiness. It's just like, and nobody's like really cheering for one fighter per se. It's kind of just like everybody just wants everybody to do good. So like once one fighter is doing his thing in the ring and like piecing somebody up, you're cheering for him. And then when the next guy starts piecing somebody up, you're cheering for him. Like you just want,
we don't care.
Yeah, you just want everybody to just fucking go in there and do some sick shit.
If you ever want to know what Rome feels like without the slavery and the fucking in the streets, that's just it's how it feels. So it's a lot of drinking. A lot of weird stuff going on. A lot of discussions that had nothing to do with anything. Motherfuckers is fucked up.
Just all of us catching up, having a good time. It's like
one big family just fighting over.
Yeah, it's straight up a
big family. It's just like one big family just cooked out. Yeah, cooked out with fights.
Imagine that shit.
Like we all decide, so yeah, look, dude, I'm gonna knock you out next week. Like, yeah, come on, let's go. And then we go there, have fun. I hope Mikey Torah makes it bigger because it's good. I think it's good for the Eastern Shore.
Next one's September.
Really is that part of the Eastern Shore? No, I think it's not.
No, it's not. So Eastern Shore is when you cross the bridge.
Okay.
But yeah, it's over the bridge in Baltimore or Millersville, Maryland. They're gonna have one in September. They have them like 2 or 3 times a year at least. I'm pretty sure. So like, it's a really fun thing to go to. It gets hot in there, so make sure you dress accordingly. I tell everybody that, but it's just like it's a vibe. It's $20 fucking to get it, $25 to get in there. You get to watch like 18 fights. Like it doesn't get much better than that. Like if you try to tell people if you've never been to a live fight or seen live fights or just seen people in that atmosphere fight, it's a fucking fun time.
It's not like
no matter
YouTube.
Who you are, you will like it. I promise you. You'll love it. It's cool, man.
Yeah, it's live. It's not YouTube. It's not something you just watch.
It's a cool sport to watch.
Good. And it's cheap. Jesus Christ, it's $25.
Yeah.
Gonna spend down on the weed anyway.
So come support Hotbox Fight Series. We're on number 4 coming up. It's gonna be at a cantina. That's all I know. There's a little bit. It's gonna be a big show. And this time it might have some air conditioning, so that might be cool.
Oh. I think I like it hard.
Yeah, I do too. That's what honestly I do too.
I just like the underground feeling.
I don't complain about it. I say it. I'm like, dude, it's hot as fuck. But some people are just like, we gotta get some AC, and I'm like, nah. It makes it a vibe. And Micah said the same thing to me. He was like, yeah. He said it's a vibe. And I'll tell you what, if we go to the cantina and it's like not the same vibe, because I don't know, it could turn into more of like it's gonna feel. I feel like it has to be a little bit more legitimized and like not like
it's gonna be like a big promotion.
We can't just walk in with like 30 packs and fucking and just have fun in the back. Like
High News,
they're sipping
rum,
no
vodka,
names
straight
being
from
called.
the bottle.
But they're back there. We got straight from the bottle, tequila, Rumple Mints, just passing it around in the bag, bro.
No
like,
cups. Everybody.
Some of the fighters taking shots before they go out, bro. It's fucking wild, dude.
It's wild. Yeah, it is. It's fun. I think I stand with Vince. I would prefer it more than the big promotions because it feels more like an actual gypsy. You remember when gypsies would fight and stuff back in the day?
Everybody used to do that. The Irish, the gypsies, they always have their little fight rings behind the pub. Always.
Yes, this is how it feels, just with a 16-ounce glow. So there's barely knockouts, but if you got it, you got it because there's barely knockouts.
They wear headgear sometimes. You can choose. But it's. I mean, there is sometimes some crazy knockouts or some crazy knockdowns, but because it's 16-ounce gloves, like. It's just like if I had people come to my gym and just watch me spar somebody, like me and you, if people just came in there and watched us hard spar in the cage one night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it. So I think it's fucking awesome. And shout out to them for putting that shit on. So
and Pierre and Brad for stepping up. Yeah,
yes, great performances.
Great
performances.
For a first timer, they did well. Even better than I did.
Yeah, I told him that. I straight up was honest.
Yeah.
I said, because they were like kind of like, how did I do? I said, look, technically sound like when it comes to like how you looked better than fucking Nosa did his first fight. And now look at him. Yeah. I said, look what Nosa's gonna do. So you got a nice road ahead of you. Like, don't fucking think that just because you didn't knock this guy or finish him, like I'm like, and they also didn't get the kind of opponent you had. I will say that.
And I didn't train boxing. I didn't train boxing at all.
I knew you were a dog. I was like, Brandon was kind of pissed at me about it, and I was like, nah, he's a dog. Like, because his opponent pulled out the day of, didn't even show up. Right, it was his first time ever fighting. And my boy, shout out to Jake Wilkes.
I love that
from
boy.
Ground Control. Jake Wilkes stepped up and was like, he was ready to fight same weight. And Jake Wilkes got like probably 6 or 7 fights under his belt and trains under Vince. So he's very good, very solid dude. And he stepped up that night, put the gloves on, and fucking, I ain't gonna lie, like he banged on Nosa, but Nosa banged right back, and it was a good fight. And it
was a back and forth. And we saw each other this last Moher, and we talked about it too. It was like our fight was fun. I'm like, yeah, it was fun because he came at me because he had more technique than me, but every time I hit Jake, I'm like, yes, I got to put something into it because Jake is fucking me up. And so we talked about it, and we actually reminisced, and we agreed to the fact that, yeah, it's just one of those things where it elevated me a lot because after that fight, I kind of understood what I was getting into, and I'm like, okay, so I got a lot of work on it. I got to step it up. And ever since then,
you worked on
I've been
it.
different.
Yep, and you worked on all of it.
Yeah.
You're looking a lot better.
Oh, a lot.
Looking a
whole
fuck ton
lot
better.
Yeah. Oh, then that first time, yeah, I didn't even keep my hands up. I was taking a lot of hooks. I had dreads at that time. It was flying everywhere because I was getting beat up. My buddy took a lot of,
He was digging them hooks to the body. I want to get you up there to work with Vince. I think this will change your game.
Yeah, it was so good. The buddy hooks was so good that the next day I couldn't hug people. Like, I had like 3 days off. Like, it was a trauma wound to my fucking muscle here. He fucked me up. I was like a punching bag, and I didn't know what to do. So the only thing I knew was 1-2. That's the only thing I threw the whole time.
Yeah, you just do a 1-2.
But every time I landed the 1-2, I made sure it was a hard shot. He came up to me after the fight, was like, yo, you hit hard as hell. And I didn't even know how to punch at that time. So, yeah, after that, I think my next 2 fights, I got 2 knockouts. WKA.
Yeah, you WKA
I was-
fucking like weird knockouts. Like the left uppercut, you fucking just threw it like it was like a 3-inch punch. Put him right out.
I think it was already pretty much beat up. Yeah, I think that was what happened. The dude was probably
And
already
then the
much beat up.
fucking flying, bro.
The flying knee.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that clip on top of this so people can see that shit because nobody has really. It hasn't been put out in a while, but I remember that shit. Like Vince
Flying knee.
This is like, what the fuck was that, bro? Like, dude, he flew up for like a fake flying knee, like a fake tee. Like he was like 3-4 feet in the air, like he was about to dunk. It looked like he was about to dunk, and he did. He took his right hand. Because we told him to do it. It was like a setup. I give Scott the credit.
Yeah.
Scott created this. It's called freeze, whatever. You fake it, it makes the guy kind of freeze up and like drop his guard. It's weird. And Nosa went up, and as he came down, he took his right hand like a fucking basketball and just dunked it on his fucking head. Just like, all you heard was, pow! And the dude just flatlined. I was like, what the fuck? It's the craziest clip ever.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah, so that was my WK, and after that, my last WK was a war. I think the dude was a better boxer than me, but I was a better overall.
I think you beat that guy.
I did.
I think you beat that guy.
I think I did. He was more technical, but I beat him. To be honest, the Ted run, he didn't do anything.
It's the kickboxing tournament judges are weird.
Yeah, so
They're weird.
I lost that fight to decision, and the dude went ahead to even win the competition. And to be honest, I still think I beat that dude.
Yo,
So
and
I would have easily won that competition.
You wanna know something about this dude? So we come downstairs like early as fuck, like 7 a.m. to get breakfast at the hotel because we stayed up at the hotel at Harrington. Because when they do the WKA, it's a kickboxing tournament that runs the whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and the same Saturday that night is Stellar. So like it's this huge day of just fucking fights and like so we stayed up in the hotel usually, and it's gonna be coming up at the end of this August 26th. So I'll be doing the same thing because I think Lumison wants to get his comeback. He wants to run it back.
Okay.
And maybe get Pierre. We'll see. Maybe we'll see. David
is doing it.
Yeah,
too.
David too. So I come downstairs at 7 a.m. to get continental breakfast at the hotel. And Nosa's sitting over. He wasn't even in the room. I didn't know where he went. I thought he was just like outside doing some meditation shit, whatever. I come downstairs, excuse me, and Nosa is fucking sitting in the corner eating breakfast with his fucking opponent. Eating breakfast with him like at a table, like they're on a date. Like he's just sitting there eating. They're talking about. Ends up, I talked to Nosa after. I'm like, dude, was that your opponent? He was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, we're from the same tribe. They ended up being from the same tribe from Nigeria.
Yeah.
The guy he was fighting. Yeah, it's fucking wild. Small world.
Yeah, it's a small world. We actually formed. I'm like, where are you from? It's like Edo State. I'm like, what? That's where I'm from too. It was in the same state with the same tribe.
And they battled. Had a great fight.
Yeah, we
great
went
fight.
in. And his coach had to ask me, where are you from? I'm like, I'm Nigerian. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Nigerians are built.
They're like,
different,
yeah,
dude.
like, I understand. It was like, that's your boy. I'm like, yeah, we already understood. That's why in the third round, you saw me, I was clapping because he was tired.
Yeah,
he was tired after the second round because he threw everything he had at me in the first round trying to knock me out.
And I told you to do that. I told you to let him win the first round.
And he couldn't. He found out that I was durable and he couldn't knock me out. So I think that kind of gassed him out. And the second round, I started putting pressure on him. The third round, I followed suit. So when we got to the third round, I saw how tired he was. So I do that for my opponent sometimes. It's a mind game at the same time. If you're a warrior, you should understand that I'm cheering you up. So I kind of cheer for them. And he did the same back. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Third round, let's lock in. And after the third round, I hugged him. I was surprised. His coach was surprised he won too. Even the doctor that was talking to me was like, I thought you won.
The ref told me that he thought you won too.
So everybody thought I won, but hey, we're here.
That's how it goes sometimes.
Yep.
Who
It's part of the
cares?
sports. We love it.
So enough talk about fights. Let's finish out the show because we're running out of time here. Let's talk about what we got coming up. One for the podcast. I'm excited. We're gonna have a couple of awesome guests on.
Yeah, we have our shit together
lined
now.
up. Yeah,
So,
we're gonna start locking in with you, Juice.
Yeah.
We got everything planned out. We got merch dropping for the podcast too. It's gonna be really fire that y'all are gonna love.
Sick. It's gonna be about me and Taylor. A little story. Y'all gonna love it. Yeah, just look forward to it.
Yeah, so look forward to the next few episodes. I can't wait. We're gonna have a couple of big dogs on, so talk about some cool shit and that has nothing to do with fighting per se.
Yep. Business, life, experience, culture. You know, all the other shit.
All the shit that matters.
All the shit that matters.
Yeah, so shout out to Juice and Piece It Together Studios. Thank you so much for taking care of us. Love doing this. This is awesome that we get to share what we go through, our lives to you guys. I've heard from lots of people that you guys are enjoying it too. So thank you so much for following up. Sorry we've been on a fucking hiatus when you've been here, but we're gonna start pumping the content out real hard here. So
yeah.
I'm excited for it.
I am excited too.
Nosa, do what you do best and close the show out with your inspiration.
Hey, it's the Punch Drunk Podcast, and we just wrapped up episode 7. So I'm glad to be back. Haven't been here in I think it's 2 or 3 months now.
2 months.
Yeah, so it's good to be back on the mic with my brother Juice. So I just want to send a shout out to everyone out there. So I was talking to this young brother just now at Wawa, and when I saw him, he was like, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" And I said the same thing. I greeted him, and it was just that type of energy where you're excited to see a fellow brother. And I was leaving. He said, "Yo, you have a good drive," and I'm like, "You have a good rest of the day." But that just occurred to me that sometimes you just gotta. People would resonate the kindness that you put out there. So you gotta try as much as possible. We all have something going on. Everybody. Being an adult in the United States, I'm pretty sure you have something going on. I don't care how rich you are. So you just want to put out more kindness out there in the world that's very toxic right now. A lot of stuff going on. We all could be assholes sometimes due to our mood, but try as much as possible to put out a lot of kindness out there, and you will be reciprocated. And if you don't, it goes a long way. Trust me. I lost my wallet the other day. I found it with $500 in there, and someone just told me after I explained the story, it was like, "Yo, dude, you're blessed. So whatever good you're doing, keep doing it." So I don't know. Maybe that might just be a lucky shot. Might just be universe sending me my way that we should all keep putting good stuff and creative stuff out there. So keep doing you, keep being you. It's needed. The world needs you. We all need you. One love.
Word. Great episode, brother.